Rob, if someone's sued, should they examine the paperwork and the backup documents to make sure that the claim being asserted against them is valid?
It's important to look at all the documents that are attached to the petition. They will include the lawsuit and sometimes affidavits of people who are testifying to the amount of the debt. It's also important to note whether or not the person that's suing you is actually the original creditor. By original creditor, I mean the creditor that you did business with, that you took out the loan with, or that you made the purchase from. Sometimes those creditors sell the debt to what we call debt buyers. Those companies may or may not have the proper paperwork to prove their case in court. You need to look closely and see if you're being sued by a debt buyer or some other kind of collection agent.
Why?
Those companies that are collection agents and debt buyers have a very difficult time proving their case in court. They often buy the debt for pennies on the dollar, and knowing that will allow you to be able to negotiate with them so that they can make a profit, but at a very, very reduced amount. Think about if you've paid 10 cents on the dollar. That means on $1,000, you only paid $100.
Rob, let me ask you this. Let's say you go to court and do everything your videos tell you to do you have to cut a deal that day with them? Do you have to accept their terms?
No. When you go to court and you meet with the debt collection attorney, you don't have to accept the terms that are provided to you. You can ask for more time. You can ask for a trial. You can actually go to court and defend yourself.
And what happens if they don't have their documents? Would you maybe win that trial, or would you maybe get the judgment to be a lesser amount than was asserted against you?
Often debt buyers and collection agents that are suing in court don't have the documentation necessary to prove the case at trial. If you ask for a trial, you'll be in a much better position. You could actually win the case if they couldn't come in and prove the entire chain of title and ownership of that debt.
Now, who do I talk? If I'm late, or if I have a default, or these other things, if I go into court, I'm always, the people who aren't lawyers are afraid to go up to the bench or go up to the clerk. How do I communicate with the court to try to enforce my rights?
Generally, when you go to court, they'll call your name, but if you're late, you're going to need to see the bailiff first. When you go see the bailiff, who is usually a sheriff,
the guy with the gun, right?
The guy with the gun and the badge, then you ask that bailiff if you can approach the court and talk to the judge. You should be able to do that. And once you talk, once you're able to speak with the judge, you can ask the judge for relief. If there's been a default, you can ask the judge for a continuance. You'll be surprised what judges will do if you can just approach them.
The great point about the judges, people think the judges are on the side of the debt collector lawyers. Or is that true, or they're supposed to be kind of in the middle?
Judges are not part of, on either side of the case. Judges are fair in general and want to help all parties. If you're representing yourself in front of a judge, don't be afraid. The judge will be nice. The judge will be gracious to you and will help you get what you need to present your case.
How should someone act towards the judge?
Always treat a judge respectfully. Always treat a judge as if they were your great-grandfather and you were being as nice as you possibly could. Also, try to dress appropriately in court. So that's always helpful, and it's also always helpful with the judge.
Do you think you get the same? Why is it important? Why would it be important for someone to call a lawyer at Legal Services of Eastern Missouri or to go on lsem.org before going to court? Why is that important?
It's very difficult to navigate all of the rules of evidence and other rules in court. There are lots of arcane kinds of procedures that are applied, and you need to know your way around. It's so much more helpful if you have an attorney, and if you hire Legal Services of Eastern Missouri, you'll get a competent, quality attorney who will be able to represent you.
Do they have to pay the lawyers at Legal Services?
Lawyers at Legal Services work for free. We're publicly funded, federal funds and other kinds of funds, United Way and other charity funds. So we are able to represent consumers without charging them.
So let's say you maybe follow your advice. You got one continuance, you did a trial, or you threatened a trial. But let's say, tell me how you're supposed to negotiate with the lawyer for the debt collector to get the best deal you can.
What you need to do when you're dealing with the debt collection attorney is you need to be...
Assuming you did it without the legal services lawyer, because it's a bad question, because if you got the legal services lawyer, they're going to help you, right?
Right.
But let's assume that's not the case and you're doing it on your own and you want to do the deal. What do you do?
Well, you go in to represent yourself. You speak with the attorney. You tell the attorney what your means are, what your abilities are, what your ability to make a payment each month would be. Generally, collection lawyers will want you to sign a consent judgment, which would require you to make payments on the full amount of the judgment over time. A consent judgment is a settlement. It's a settlement between you and the debt collection company. You will make a certain number of payments, and then the judgment will be satisfied. However, if you miss a payment, then the debt collection company can garnish your wages or garnish your bank accounts. So it's very important to be careful when you negotiate a monthly payment with a debt collector.
Rob, in negotiating with the debt collector lawyer, where should you start, and what are some of the tactics you should try to do to get the best resolution for yourself?
Your best bet is to pay a lump sum or a sum certain early on and have the case dismissed.
Does that mean for the whole, sorry to interrupt, does that mean one amount for the whole debt rather than monthly payments over time?
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct. And so you're going to make one payment, and you might want to start low and then work your way up if you have to.
Do you mean in negotiating?
You might negotiate by starting by offering 20% of the debt and see what the debt collection lawyer says. You can ask for a continuance, come back next time and offer 30%, maybe 40%. But you can negotiate. That's the thing that you should understand. The other side wants to settle the case too. They don't necessarily want to have to go to court and bring a witness, particularly if the witness is far away, like a credit card company witness. They have to fly here. And so you need to keep that in mind while you're negotiating. Most credit card companies will settle for substantially less if you pay them all at once.
So you want to maybe continue a couple times, save money up, borrow money, get something together. So when you go in there, you have an estimate of what you really can afford. You also, I guess, need to look at your finances. Is that fair?
Correct. You want to be able to. You only want to promise what you can do. You only want to make an offer that you know that you can back up.
Rob, would calling a lawyer at Legal Services of Eastern Missouri help navigate these things?
Absolutely.
Is that phone number 314-534-4200?
That is it.
Let me ask you this. Can you tell us a little bit about what's lsem.org? It's the website. Is there information there on consumer debt and other ways to handle these types of things? There's
information on our website that can help you negotiate and navigate debt collection. Thank you for watching. If you have questions or if you'd like free legal help, please call us at Legal Services of Eastern Missouri at 314-534-4200 or visit us at our website at lsem.org.